You 3, 4, better shut
No
the
notes, no
door.
nothing. You're just going in cold.
Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. By the way, we have a special friend with us today. I call him the greatest barber in the world, a.k.a. philosopher, also known as Michael Rapattoni. Michael, thank you for being a guest here with us on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You can see the hair, but if you look at that hair, that's the hair. That's the hair that my son is. Last night, my son is doing his, he's blow drying his own hair. He says, "Dad, look, I got Michael's hair."
Kill for that.
Oh, by the way, shout out to Dylan. Dylan finally tied his own shoelaces before his brother did at 6 years old, and he was all ecstatic about it. And we have Adam. We learned something about Adam this morning, just so everybody knows. So you guys know how we were concerned about why Adam keeps going to the bathroom. Everybody's wondering what is really going on. Does he have to use a bathroom? Like even right now, he just went and came back.
Yeah.
So what happened was Kai was in there monitoring because we wanted to see what was really the intention.
Yeah, he found it.
He goes into the bathroom to throw up before the podcast. So that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
We now know.
Now, you would see, based on my looks, you think it's bulimia. It's just nerves. It's sitting next to Rapattoni right here. It's just nerves.
So
By the way, the first second I walked in, I go, damn, Josh looks good. But it's Rapattoni. Okay.
It's Rapattoni. Today we all have white shirts on. It's White Shirt Tuesday, minus your blue jeans, whatever you got on.
I can take it off.
It's an environment where we forgive people, so it's fine. All right, folks, if you're getting on, we are getting on a little earlier. We did say it's going to start at 8 o'clock, but we got on at 7:45, so we got 12 minutes till 8. For those of you that are troopers and you're on, put up the thumbs button if you can and share this, and let's get the podcast started. We got a lot of things to talk about. Obviously, the RNC happened yesterday. I watched every one of the speeches last night till midnight, so I got some thoughts on that. I got an FDA warning that I didn't even tell you about from FDA telling you should stop eating this one fruit. Ooh. That is not good for you. And it's very interesting what this fruit is. You know, a part of this fruit I think you like. There's an element of this fruit that I have a feeling, Adam,
I'm excited
you like.
to hear what this fruit is.
I'm going to tell you what this fruit is.
I like how you don't tell. We have notes, we prep.
Yeah.
But Pat keeps something under his sleeve at all times.
You have to. So this one's an interesting one. And we got to talk about LeBron James and what he said to Trump about Goodyear tires and what happened there with Superman showing up out of nowhere. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Tesla and Walmart. Maybe we'll go into that story first. Toys R Us, after being put out of business, Toys R Us decides to go back to an old partner, old friend that put him out of business, and we're going to see if that's going to work out or not. Toys R Us and Amazon possibly starting a relationship together again. And then Norway. Man, these people from Norway, you got to be careful with them, okay? Yeah. They're capitalists. They want to make money. They have $7 trillion of reserves in oil, but they also believe in climate change. Yeah. Like, tremendously. They believe in climate change.
Great people. Can't spell for shit.
Very good people.
Great people.
Cannot spell for shit. And by the way, sometimes searching on Google.
Forever.
They got to teach a class in high school on how to search properly on Google. And then we have, let's see here, are Republicans or Democrats better for our economy? Kellyanne Conway stepped away. I have a special Simpsons video I want to show you, which is classic Simpsons video. Some shooting that happened in Wisconsin, tragic event. TikTok sues the U.S. government, and then a couple other events. But let's get first into the future of Tesla. Ooh. Okay, so check this out. So Tesla announces they're doing a split, okay, 5-to-1 split. Their share closes Thursday last week at $2,000, give or take. Okay, they're up, 6.56% in one day. For the year, they're up 380% for the year. I'm not talking about 2 years, 3 years. They're up 380 for the year in 7.5 months, okay? So to all the people that are listening to this saying, I wish I would have put some money into Tesla, if you would have put $100,000 into Tesla, you now have $380,000. $280,000 is what you have, depending on how they do the math, 380, right? If you would have put $100,000 beginning of the year. So they're crushing it. But news just came out that Tesla is officially worth more than Walmart. Tesla is now worth $371 billion. Walmart is now worth $370 billion. Here's the difference. Tesla's revenues is only $25 billion. Walmart's revenue is $523 billion. How is Tesla's revenue 20 times less than Walmart, but they're worth more than Walmart? What do you say to that?
Man, that's
crazy stuff, right? To think about.
I don't have like the mathematical approach to this, but I will give a metaphor, right? So we've all been to high school, we've been to college, we're dudes here, we like hot chicks. You know, there's girls that we're into, and then the new girl shows up, and you're like, damn, bro, you see the damn, like, oh, like it's like the new hot girl, right? And all of a sudden you forget that like all the girls you were into before in school, you know,
they're kind of
Walmart,
old.
You know, they're been there, done that.
Who would Walmart be in school though? Who would Walmart be in school?
Who would she be?
Who would she be?
She would be like, you know, the captain of the cheerleading team that's been around on the team for a handful of years, you know.
And people are over it.
If you've seen Mean Girls, you know, she'd be the, like, this is a good Mean Girls analogy. She'd be,
I don't know a lot of men that watch Mean Girls.
Oh,
but it's good. I mean, listen, it's
Toy
impressive.
Boy in the house!
Validation.
Mean Girl, great movie. I don't know if you guys seen this. No. But Amy Adams' character, I forget. Yeah. Is it Amy Adams? Come on, guys.
Just so you know, no one here has watched Mean Girls.
Nobody
but tell us about it. Tell us about it. Give us the
Lindsay
review.
Lohan's character shows up, and she's the new girl.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, the people are like, damn, what's up with that? What's up? That's Tesla. Okay? She doesn't have the track
Tesla
record.
is Lindsay Lohan.
It's the new meat. It's the new fresh meat. That's what I'm saying. She doesn't have the track record. She doesn't have the numbers clearly to prove it. You know, you got Walmart, big, beautiful over there being like, what's up? You forget about me? I'm chopped liver. That's Tesla. Now, what I will say, it sounds like I'm talking trash about Tesla. I'm not. She is a hot girl, or in this case, a very
Is she someone
hot
to
business.
marry, or is she someone to just have a good weekend with, good fling with?
I mean, you test it out, test drive it, Tesla, and then you see what you got. But the thing with Tesla,
at this point of the game, plenty of people have test-driven Tesla. What I'm saying
I
is,
don't see that many Teslas on the road. Do you? I see a handful.
By the way,
I see a lot of Toyotas.
Forgive Adam. This is coming from somebody that doesn't drive for a living. He takes Ubers, and while he's going in an Uber, he's looking at his phone the entire time. Okay.
I've never been picked up in a Tesla.
Of course you're not
I've been
going
picked up
to.
in a Benz. I've been picked up in SUVs, everything. I've never been picked up with a Tesla. But the one thing we forget about Tesla is obviously the numbers are nowhere near Walmart's numbers. The one thing we forget about Tesla is they are not a car company. What are they? They're a tech company.
Yeah.
People forget about that. What are you talking about? Car company. They have nowhere near the revenue or the amount of cars on the road that a Toyota does, as an example. But they're a tech company. As our good friend Josh would point out, it's all about the data. So they're doing some amazing things over there. They're definitely the new hot chick on the block.
Yeah.
But
I like the way you put it.
Okay.
But the only difference is, you talk about $371 billion versus $370. Michael, what do you say about this valuation they're getting, and they're 20 times smaller revenue than Walmart?
You know, man, it's you know, I love the technical side of it. I think that's where a lot of the value is coming. But and I love this analogy, and I think we might find out that hot girl is not going to be so hot. You know, the hot girl does come to.
You're going to find out she's got like bad breath or something like that.
Yeah, she's just going to be like everybody else. And, you know, it's the big game in the beginning, and all of a sudden it falls off.
So we're going to see what's – I had an event at Breakers a couple weeks ago, okay? Mm-hmm. So I brought one of my investors, shout out to Greg Scher. We're sitting there together, and, you know, he says, you have to realize two companies doing $100 million a year, one doing 40% a year, the other one doing 10% a year. When you decide to sell either one of these companies, the company doing 40% versus 10% is worth twice as much as a 10%. Let me say this one more time. Both companies, same size, same top line revenue. One is growing at a 10% rate. The other one is growing at a 40% rate. To sell the company, this one may sell for $150 million, but this one's going to sell for $300 million. Okay, so it's the percentage of growth. And if Tesla can continue to grow at this pace like this, the market is saying long term, they're eventually going to pass Walmart. That's kind of what they're saying. They're going to eventually pass Walmart. Now that's
it. I got to take the shirt off.
380%. And by the way, if you see stains on his shirt, he was drinking some soy milk earlier.
I got double soy latte spilled all over myself.
Spilled all over him. So, again, for the early birds that you're on with us, 7:56, we got 4 more minutes until we get into 8 o'clock. Press the thumbs up and give a shout-out to Michael Rapattoni, my barber, a philosopher. He's got a lot of great opinions and things he shares. Every time I go to get a haircut with him, he's either watching Godfather or he's watching Rocky. And, by the way, tell us how this whole grand opening. You opened up. You used to be at Floyd's. Now you got your own shop in Plano.
I was at Finley's.
I'm sorry, Finley's. Yeah, Finley's.
Yeah, I was at Finley's for 5 years, and I just had an opportunity come by. I mean, it wasn't the I wasn't thinking, pandemic. I wasn't thinking. I mean, we're talking about barbershops. They've been around since the beginning of time. And
now, why do you open it right across from another guy that's been there for 51 years? Like literally, I'm getting a haircut. I look to my right. The barber shop, 51 years across the street, and he stands there, mad dog in this. It's an interesting dynamic.
Can we talk about that? The power of competition? What this guy's thinking?
One, I never thought about it. I knew he was there. I just never thought of it as competition. I mean,
Damn, you're just looking right past this guy. I don't see you, buddy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact of the matter is, I mean, just mathematically, it makes sense. I mean, he's a one-man operation, and I've got 3 chairs. So we got 4 chairs in this gigantic.
He's a one-man shop.
One-man shop.
Okay.
Family, but passed down from pops.
Right, right. So, he's got his customer base. I've got a customer base. And we do and sell 2 different things. I mean, he sells haircuts. I sell an experience, along with a haircut. And, we hope to do a good job over there. I mean, the fact is this. We've got 4 chairs in a very populated area. I came from 8 chairs under one roof, so I never looked at my coworkers as competitors.
What was the name of the shop you went to before?
Finley's.
Finley, Ken Finley?
Yeah, Finley's. Finley's minus gel today. No gel. We would have shown him, but he has no gel today. And here's a crazy thing. Here's a crazy thing for some of you guys that are listening to this. Most people that open up a business, they think, well, let me beat my competitor in price. Here's the truth about price. How much are the haircuts at your competitor's place?
Yeah, they're half.
What is
half
the price?
Of what I charge. They're $18.
What are yours?
$35.
Think about this. So not only am I coming across the street and opening up shop, I'm going to double the price you charge, and I'm still going to beat you. That's blue ocean at the highest level if you think about it.
Yeah, it's it's I do what I do, and I think that when you find your own worth,
you wash the hair, you do the massage.
Yeah, we offer such a high level of service. I mean, and I think that's why so many people will follow and keep coming, and our customer base is so strong. And again, coming from Finley's was Finley's was the best time of my life.
Yeah.
It was 5 years of the best time of my life.
That's where you and I got it connected.
Yeah, right. And and I learned a lot and decided it was you get to a point, and I was going to open, and I looked at a lot of different places, storefronts.
Yeah.
This is a street, which is really cool. The price points of rent and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Starting a business like that, but it was really just came down to opportunity.
Let me ask you. One thing about barbers: a good barber is a psychologist, right?
Yes.
Because barbers sit there and they're asking questions. How's the wife? How's the family? How's the kids? How is this? How is that? And Michael's clientele, they love him. Okay, they absolutely love him. Tell us a crazy story you've had in the last week or two. Give us a crazy story.
Well, I have
$35 therapy. It's fantastic.
Give us a good story.
It's cheap, right? Yeah, I've had 2 this week that were kind of interesting.
Okay.
Real quick one. I'll give you both.
Okay.
Real quick one. Yesterday, a guy came in.
Don't name no names, Rapattoni.
No
names.
I won't. And I hope this guy sees this because it was actually kind of entertaining. So we were there yesterday, and he comes in. It was just a walk-in. He got off Google or whatever, and he came in. He said, "Listen, man," he said, "here's my problem. My wife just had a baby, and my hair looks bad, and I'm just trying to get some."
He said this.
He said that. I said,
my wife just had a baby.
Get in the chair.
I'm trying to get some.
Not only do we need to do a haircut.
What a great opening line.
We need to have a conversation too. So sit down and let's talk about this. So we get them all fixed up. Great story. Night ends last night. I get an email from Google. Google there's a review on there. It says, unbelievable, small place, great time, great conversation, cold drinks. Thank you for the great haircut. I think I'm going to have my second kid. So it was.
That's cool. That's a good story. I like that one.
That was kind of neat. A quick turnaround.
Yes.
But a nice thing about we had a guy come in just the other day. He actually came in because he's a follower. He's a follower of you. Loves you. You're his mentor, and he follows every word you say. And he comes in. He wants to get his hair cut. Where Patrick gets his hair cut. It's okay. And this is the second time. It's not uncommon, And so he sits in the chair and he says, "So how'd you hear about us?" He said, "Well," he said, "it's kind of odd." I said, "He says, I've been following this guy for a really long time." And he gets his haircut here. I said, oh, great. What's his name? He says, Patrick BetDavid. I said, oh, Patrick is a good friend. He says, yeah, he goes, I'm his future employee. He says, I'm going to work for him. And I said, oh, okay. I said, good. Does he know? He says, no, he doesn't know. And I said, okay. I mean, that's a normal question, right?
Sure.
So I said, all right. I said, well, maybe you should let him know. I'm going to when I'm ready. And I said, all right. I said, well, you need to buy a car. How are you going to, ready for what? He's like, I just have to get my life together. I need to get better at what I do. And I need to. So I told him a story about Floyd's. So I walked.
This is a powerful story. If you guys are listening, we briefly touched this yesterday.
Yeah.
So this is not a barbershop story. This is actually a great story. So listen up.
Yeah, this is a powerful story.
Valuetainers.
And this is what I love about barbering, because this happens on a daily basis. So
great.
guy sits there, I said to him, brother, let me tell you a story about getting ready. I said, I went to beauty school. I wanted to be a barber. I wanted to cut hair. I wanted to be a part of this whole game. And I sat and I waited till I was ready. Then I go out. Barbershops weren't barbershops back then.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a new thing. The last 5 years, barbershops been popping up. And so when I started, it was beauty shops. So you sit in a beauty shop and you want to be the guy, and you want to get to that next level. So I went to get a haircut at Floyd's 99 out in L.A. I walked in and I said, this is the place. This is the place that I want to work. This is heaven. We got the music going. The atmosphere was right. It was absolutely amazing. Then I get a good haircut. I'm under the assumption that all the haircuts are that way.
Yeah.
So I decide that I need to become the best men's cutter alive before I apply for the job at Floyd's. So I spent 3 years doing $10 and $12 haircuts, making very little, eating top ramen and rice, and on a good day, once a week, maybe twice a week, you go and buy like a steak or like just a little hamburger and act like it's a steak,
Yep.
And I'm
Save
working,
that money.
and I'm working because I want to. Every cut, I'm one cut closer to Floyd's. 5,000 cuts later.
That's the goal. Getting
That's the goal.
Getting to Floyd's.
Yeah. So I want to get
So 2-3 years you're eating top ramen, just preparing for Floyd's.
Oh, no cable TV, no internet.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I was living
What
like a caveman. And so I go. I finally say, you know what? I'm ready. First of all, I'm tired of being broke. Second, I think I'm ready, and if I'm not ready, maybe I got to get out of the business. Maybe I need to change altogether. So I go and I apply for Floyd's, instantly get the job. My first day, I wear my greatest outfit. I'm all excited. I went, got new shoes, the whole thing. I do a haircut, and I'm like, man, I'm in the big leagues. This is it.
Made it to Floyd's.
Yeah, I snapped that cape off after my first cut. It's a beautiful haircut. I turned to see who's looking, and I looked at next to me. They're done a haircut too. It was one of the worst haircuts I've ever seen. I turn over to the other one, and I look, and I'm like, wow, that's a bad haircut too. The moral to the story is I was ready the whole time. I was ready when I was awful. So I told this guy, why are you telling yourself whether you're ready or not? That you don't make the final decision anyway. So go and find out if you're ready. And if you're not, don't be afraid to ask the question, can I come back when you feel that I'm more ready? Or can you tell me what to do to get ready for this? And it was beautiful. I mean, the guy, he ends up with a decent haircut. He loved it, and he left. He actually bought a Rapattoni's barbershop.
Oh, he did. So the $5
T-shirt.
off. You buy the shirt for $20.
Yeah.
Every time you get a haircut, wearing that, you get $5
That's
off.
That's right.
Now the question is that a lot of the single men are listening. Did he get laid last night?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because the other one,
I don't know.
his wife, pregnant, gives birth. We're wondering if this guy did or not.
Yeah.
How long after giving birth can you bang your wife? What's the rule of thumb on that? 6 weeks. 6 weeks? Is that the number?
Sure.
Luis's wife is pregnant. He knows the number.
I don't know. I think that
sure?
rule's been broken before. I think.
I don't know. I think we could go down a slippery slope on this conversation right here. Of like, if a wife is pregnant, can you still have sex? Is there a rule on that? I mean, like.
It depends on what.
3 months, okay, but 6 months, 8 months, I don't know about that.
Some women heal faster.
6 months, 8 months.
You can't do that.
6 months.
What do you mean 6 months?
While she's 6 months pregnant, I'm saying while she's pregnant.
You can have sex till the last day if you want to.
Really?
Adam.
Yeah.
You're not going to hit the baby in the head with the.
You have to angle it. You have to angle it. You have to angle it. Hey, sorry, buddy.
Jesus.
We had a friend in high school. I can't even say his name because he'll be embarrassed. We had a friend, and he had this red patch on his forehead.
Not Indian.
It was terrible. No. Massive, like red, what do you call it? Like, it's almost like, how you have marks, red marks. And
Gorbachev.
What do you call it?
Like Gorbachev.
Like a birthmark.
Like
kind of a
Gorbachev
thing.
type of a mark.
Yeah.
And everybody used to
Shout
say.
out to Mikhail Gorbachev.
Everybody used to say when your mom was 9 months pregnant, your dad was.
Your dad was pounding you in the forehead, buddy.
Let me tell you, that story stuck from 14 years old till today.
Hey, man.
Anyways, hey, so that's Michael Rapattoni's.
But getting back to
story for
Rapattoni's
you.
story, and this is what I wanted to give to all the entrepreneurs out there, is a couple themes, because that is a very poignant story. It's not just about being a barber. It's number one, just get started,
Just
right?
get started.
I mean, stop overthinking, stop overanalyzing.
Well-
You're gonna start cutting hair. Just start cutting some friends, And then also, done beats perfect. You ever heard that before?
Yeah.
Done beats perfect. If you're gonna wait for the perfect moment till you got the scissors and the cut, you could be waiting forever. Just get started. Get done beats perfect.
And that's and I finished him with the fact is, I wasted 3 years trying to get ready for my career.
3 years for that moment.
Yeah, but
Perfection.
I didn't
Perfection.
I didn't
You're
practice.
Done beats perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't babysit children. I didn't change any diapers. I didn't warm up a bottle before my baby was born. You know, I brought a human life into the world, and I didn't get ready. You know what I mean? It was just kind of one of those things that you kind of naturally do.
analogy
So
right there.
it's like
Don't
if you're
let
going
it
to
inspire you, though, and take your time.
One of these days.
yeah.
So he's right. Many of the things you do in your life, they don't come with a manual. You just got to man up and go out there and get it done. So very good story. Thanks for sharing, Michael. Let's continue, guys. So a couple other things here. So let me just get right into this FDA. FDA warns you to not eat those foods sold at Walmart and Target.
Oh, shit.
FDA. Now watch this.
Oh, shit.
First it was onions. They said don't buy the onions.
Oh, damn.
Then it's frozen shrimp.
I'm good.
And then even some popular prepared meals that you can easily grab on the go at some of your favorite grocery stores. Now the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, has sounded the alarm that yet another common food is linked to multi-state outbreak of salmonella. Peaches. That's why I said you like peaches. Okay, I know you're a peach guy. Okay? You always talk about peach guy. You're from Miami, you're a peach guy. You know, I'm like, this guy.
Oranges, tangerines.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
we can throw
So
some-
maybe you
some
got to read
peaches
into
in
that
there.
joke. But according to the FDA, you should not eat or serve any loose or bagged peaches that were packed or supplied by Prime Wawona or Wawona Packing Company from June 1st to August 3rd. The same goes for its bagged Wawona and Wawona organic peaches distributed and sold from June 1st through August 19th. A recent CDC food safety. Anyways, so here's a question I got for you. So these things come out. I just shared it with you. I'm actually curious for the viewers that are listening to this. I just shared this with you. Is this, Luis, Ken, Sam, Kai, is this going to change? How many guys here buy peaches? Who buys peaches? You buy peaches? Is it going to change your mind about buying peaches? Or are you still going to buy peaches at Walmart or Target? I just read this to you. Are you going to say, you know what, I'm going to skip on the peaches for a couple months?
Well, I actually just recently bought peaches there.
Yeah.
My wife
So now you're thinking about it.
Now I'm like, oh crap.
Oh, my God. I just bought a bag of peaches.
No, I didn't buy a bag. I just bought the fresh ones,
Yeah.
loose. But I'm not even sure if those are even safe, right? So hearing this, it kind of worries me.
Does it worry you?
It worries me a little bit because not.
Pregnant wife.
Yeah, pregnant. She's pregnant. She
Luis,
wanted to
happy
be
wife, happy life.
Yeah,
All right,
so-
you take that with you.
So I might reconsider where I buy my peaches the next time.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people are saying I love peaches. I didn't hear about this. It doesn't change my position. Stop buying food at Target. I'm still buying at Costco. So I don't know. You know, because these things come out all the time.
Who said I'm still buying peaches?
I'm still buying peaches. Let's see who says I'm still buying peaches. I'm still buying peaches at Costco instead. That is Javier0304.
Javier don't give a fuck. He's like, I'm buying my peaches.
I'm
I don't
buying
care
my
what you
peaches.
say, Pat. I'm
Yeah.
a peach guy.
Well, no, I just wonder if this actually works when they come out saying things like this. Like, do you see a 22% drop off on peach sales the following week at a place when Kai?
I'm wondering if it's been since June.
They
Last
said,
I checked, it's
but
been
they said
August.
June 1st through August 3rd.
Yeah.
June 1st through August. You don't care, like right now at this point. But how do you know it's not going to happen on August 21st or August 28th? You know what I mean? Like, how did they come out with this measurement? Or is it a war against peaches? Like,
man.
they had a bad deal behind closed doors. Peaches didn't give them a bonus, and they're
It's
like,
the
you know what?
Fortnite Apple
Watch what we're
debate.
gonna do. We're gonna ban
Fortnite Apple.
peaches at Walmart and
Here's the
Target.
bigger question, Pat. And
Yeah.
I'd love to get people's perspective on the room. The as of date. All right, don't eat this. You know, as of date. You know, August 27th. That's
yeah.
the date. Can you go to the 28th? Can you go to the 30th? You
I
go
use
to
the
September?
smell test.
You do the smell test.
I do the smell test.
Maybe that works for milk, That doesn't work for peaches, though, per se.
I do the smell test for a lot of things. I go out there and I just look at the turkey, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this. Week away, like almond milk. You can buy almond milk, and almond milk can be good for, by the way, 6, 7, 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah, very different than my regular milk. You can buy almond milk. It can sit there for a long time, and you're good, right?
Gotcha.
Even when it's open, yeah, it's pretty interesting with almond milk.
So you don't go by the as of date. You do by the smell test.
So our nanny. Yeah. This woman is so unique. She loves, Melva's amazing. She's one of a kind. She's a, what do you call it, a hoarder? Like
Hoarder,
like, If we go to a restaurant, I'm done.
Yeah.
No, Daddy, we take that. I said, Melva, I'm good. I'm telling you, I don't want it.
Yeah.
No, we're taking that. Melva, I'm not taking this. I take it for me. Bring box. She takes it. So By
the way, Melva speaks perfect English. I don't know why you're making that accent.
She speaks English at a different level.
I take
so so then we'll go but she does that. But for me, it's you'll see some of the stuff that it doesn't smell that bad. You go ahead and eat it.
What about you, Rapattoni?
Yeah, I think it's the words. Words have meaning. So if it's as of date, I won't touch it. And I don't do the smell test.
Don't do the smell.
But if it says best if used by, then it's kind of just more of a suggestion.
So as of is different than best if used by.
I think so.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we mix this up and ask the question from all of you guys? What was special about Nostradamus? What made him so special? What could he do? Nostradamus. What was he known for?
The future.
He could predict the future.
Situation was, right?
Who is the modern day Nostradamus?
Well, Dave Chappelle was once Negrodamus. He played that as a character. So that's who's coming to mind.
Comedy, but for you, that's
okay. Sorry,
but tell me who is the modern day Nostradamus that can make predictions 10 years before and it becomes a reality? Who's the modern day Nostradamus?
Who is it?
These are two intelligent street types of people I'm sitting in front of.
Yeah,
you may not have a 4-year degree or an 8-year degree, but you got an 8-year degree in the street. So tell us who is the modern day Nostradamus.
Modern day
Rapattoni.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one?
That's a tough one.
Hey, by the way, what do you guys think is the modern day Nostradamus? Let's see if you're going to get it right.
Creator of Simpsons.
Creator of Simpsons.
Oh,
Luis, 200. He gets it. Good for him. He's a winner. Put on the video. By the way, when you watch this video, I want to see your reaction because this absolutely is insane when you watch this. This video should be shared. I don't know why it's not on other platforms, but watch what they say here. Go ahead and play it. On November 21st, 2010.
Secret conclave of America's media empires. We're here to come up with the next phony baloney crisis to put Americans back where they
10 years
belong
ago.
in dark rooms, glued to their televisions, too terrified to skip the commercials.
Well, I think...
NBC, you are here to listen and not speak. I think we should go with a good old-fashioned public health scare.
A new disease. No one's immune. It's like the summer of the shark, except instead of a shark, it's an epidemic. And instead of summer, it's all the time.
That is smoke.
Now, I hate to be the guy who derails what everybody else loves.
He loves being that guy.
But, Janice, we do have standards. This can't be a made-up disease. The only moral thing to do is release a deadly virus into the general public.
We do have something we've been holding on to, but it hasn't been tested.
Stop.
I'd like to call to order this secret conclave.
What do you think about that? That's 10 years ago, by the way. Is that so? So if you watch this, it's one of few things. Hang on. Let me give you the options. One, they're just, prophesizing and they're just kind of throwing it out there. It's a good story to make. Number two, they know something. The writer is connected to CIA, somebody that's a family member that we don't know about. Mm-hmm. Number three is they're being fed this. Number four, pure luck. Number five, it happens all the time. It's the truth. I mean, what do you think this is?
Man, that's number one. I've seen other Simpsons things where they've predicted the future.
This is one of many. The Trump they predicted coming down.
I've seen that before. I think they're just that talented. You don't underestimate creative thinkers. I mean, they're coming up. They're sitting up, concocting all sorts of. Who knows what's coming out of their head? That's one option. Number two. Matt Groening, the creator of Simpsons, more than likely was in a wet market in China and created the Wuhan virus. That's another option. I've heard people are saying that. I don't know who it is, but people are saying that. That's an option. But it's really impressive stuff what they do out there. I don't know.
What do you think, Michael?
No, it just creeps me out.
Does it really creep you out, though?
Yeah, it creeps me out. I mean, I've seen, again, a bunch of, predictions, I don't know. I mean, is it one of those kind of things that there's just so many shows that they just write show after show? It's just kind of a coincidence, but they just seem kind of dead on, though.
For that to be, that right there is creepy. That's 10 years ago. You see something like that.
I wonder what was going on 10 years ago at that point.
Obama
what kind
was
of virus,
president.
What kind of virus was going on?
Obama dealt with one virus at that time, but to say release it. I mean, that's a different story right there.
But also look at, some of these futuristic type movies, they're thinking, the avatars of the world and the Star Wars of the world.
So it's like a 1984.
And like 1984 or like the end of the world and all these end of times movies.
So what you're saying
they're
is
looking into the future being like, let's just think of the worst case scenario.
Let me ask you,
What's going to scare the shit out of people?
You trying to say tonight when you go to bed and your left leg is off the bed.
Yeah.
You're not going to be worried that a monster under the bed is going to pull your leg. You're going to leave it the way it is? No. Or are you going to do the right thing and put the leg under the covers? What are you going to do tonight? Is this going to freak you out a little bit?
Sometimes there's alligators or sharks on the
there's no question about it.
Yeah, there's no question.
No question about it.
Boogeyman's outside.
Boogeyman is out there. So that's it. It's not a big deal. This is a show for you.
He's coming for
That's my ringtone.
Yeah, I don't think
nothing more, nothing less.
I mean, what do you think? You got to have if you're going to play the Simpsons thing, you got to have a pretty strong opinion on this.
This is the one place where if you say, what's your point? I don't have a point here. I'm going to pull an Adam card today. I'm just wondering.
You just wanted to put it out there.
I'm just wondering
General public.
But this isn't the first time, though. These guys have done a lot of different things. There was even a Kobe one that was made by a complete different cartoon. I mean, these cartoon folks, there's something with them. I like you said about the level of creativity, but to look at this one, current today, is this what could have been used to have somebody like Trump that cannot be bought to say, let's do this? I don't know. When I interviewed with this guy, John Perkins, I tell you, everything changed for me when I sat down with John Perkins. The characters like John Perkins, you only heard about in movies. Okay, economic hitman.
Yeah, tell me about this guy.
You haven't seen this? Okay, so
I have not seen this one.
So
yet.
John Perkins.
Did this just come out?
This came out 2 months ago. John Perkins' job is an economic hitman. Okay, what he did, he would go to different prime ministers around the world where America wanted their natural resource, aka oil. They would go to you and they would say, we need you to agree to get this loan from us for $4 billion. The company, we're going to give them the $4 billion to invest and create a plant in your country and create jobs. This is going to help with your economy to create jobs. Then they do the deal and he would say, if you don't agree to this, don't forget what happened to the leader of Vietnam and don't forget what happened to the leader of this place. They both died. I'm just telling you. I'm representing the U.S. government.
That sounds like some mafia stuff.
So then you say yes. He says everybody would pretty much say yes. Only 2 people said no, and they're no longer with us. Everybody who said yes, they would come. And the moment the government can no longer make the loan payment, then they would take over the company, and then they would say, now you owe us money, give us the oil, give us this, and they would buy. And they would say, we're going to take care of your kids, we'll put them in Harvard, we'll put them in Yale, whatever school, we don't care what their grades are, we'll put them in the best schools in America, they can come out of here, we'll pay your wife $1 million your income, don't worry about it, we'll pay all this other stuff, but you have to agree to do this. He says almost everybody would agree to it, right? Economic hitman. Are there other forms of economic hitman? I was having a conversation with can I say his name? I cannot say his name. I want to say his name. I can't say his name. One of the most powerful people in the Iran community. Okay? Had a call with him this week. Last week, I had a call with him. Today's what, Tuesday? Last Friday, he and I had a Zoom together. Which, by the way, Zoom took a hit yesterday. I don't know if you guys heard about that. We'll get to that. So I had a call with him last week, and we talked about what's going on with Iran. And this person didn't want to do an interview, and we're going back and forth. It's one of the people was a famous general on the Shah's regime 50 years ago. Long story short, I said, you don't want to do an interview right now. Iran just is about to take $400 billion from China. Now, you know when John Kerry and Obama brokered the deal of $150 billion to Iran?
Yeah.
This is 3 times that. China is putting $400 billion in Iran. You know what China's doing? They're owning Iran for the next 50 years if they take this deal. So when I watch some of these things, Simpson making, and you see some of the things that China is doing, And you sit there and you say, I mean, I don't know, man. I think there's bigger things going on. You got folks that are economic hitmen that what they do for a living every morning, they wake up and they say, what can I do to hurt that economy? And the number one economy in the world is who? U.S.
China
How do you
two.
break them apart? So if you go think like the darkest person you know, a dark person, divisive person, evil person. I've hired some of them. And you'll learn very quickly that these guys got a very, very interesting side to them. They have no problem hurting you. They deep down inside, they want to hurt you. If you're representing another nation and you are a dark person, you have dark tendencies, how do you divide a country up? If you have no filters, how do you do it? How would you do it?
Did John Perkins say what countries he was able to?
Oh, he listed all of them.
What were the countries?
It's countries you wouldn't know about. It's like African countries, Middle East. I mean, you would know these countries, but they're not the big 20 countries that you're like Turkey. It's not those countries.
Gotcha.
But he sat down.
He would go down, and these are dictators.
He sat down with the
in.
Shah of Iran. He had a meeting with the Shah of Iran. Yeah, he's had meetings with all these guys.
This was in the 70s.
Yes, but what I'm saying to you is, say you are that. Matter of fact, let me even bring it simpler to you.
Sure.
Say you are a sibling, and your sibling is happily married, okay? He's got kids, and your mom and dad constantly compare you to your sibling, okay? And you're the older sibling. It's like always like this, and you just become Cain. You know Cain and Abel? You become Cain. To think like Cain, how does Cain ruin Abel's life?
However he can, right? I mean,
How does he do it, though? And the reason why I'm going here is you have to think like Cain to know what a Cain could potentially do to you. You don't think like Cain because you are Cain. The book 48 Laws of Power, when Robert Greene wrote that book, I don't know if you've read the book 48 Laws of Power. You ever read 48 Laws of, you read the Laws of Human Nature that he has, but you ever read 48 Laws of Power? Have you guys ever read 48 Laws of Power? 48 Laws of Power, if you read it, you've never read it?
No, I've never read it.
I mean, it's every rapper's number one, it's their Bible if you think about it. Yeah, Robert Greene. When you read the book, there are sections in the book where you're like, this is pretty dark book right here. Let me tell you. This
Machiavellian type stuff, right?
Very at the highest level, right?
Wow.
But he says, I wrote this for you to know how others could be doing this. So with Simpsons, is this accidental? Is this intentional? Is this sitting there and thinking how a Cain would think? Is this sitting there and thinking how an enemy would want to divide the greatest country in the world right now that's created more jobs for people around the world? Is that what it is? I don't know. But that cannot just be accidental to create a cartoon like that. There's some messages behind it, and whoever's doing it, more power to them. Anyways, how about we go into the RNC? Is that cool? Let's talk about the RNC.
Just creeping me out a little bit.
Yeah, that was intentional. So let's go into the RNC.
Let's go into an even darker
I want to
event.
see if tonight you're by yourself. Will you leave your leg off the bed? You're going to be thinking about it tonight. It'll be 11:30 at night. You're going to be like, screw this. I'm picking up this leg.
You never know what's coming on there.
All right. So did you watch the speeches of RNC last night? Did you guys get a chance to go through some of them?
The bulk of them, yes.
Okay. All right. Who, first of all, I have notes on every single one of them. If you're watching, I watched every single one of them, and I have notes on all of them. And Trump, I'm like, come on, Trump. A 52-minute speech, but I watched all of it. And I have 25 notes from his speech. I have a bunch of notes from Nikki Haley's speech. So what I'll do is I'll first turn it over to you guys. Who were you most impressed with, and who were you, not impressed with?
I think the most impressive by far was Nikki Haley.
Okay.
All right. I mean, look, if we rewind, I don't know if, for all my political friends out there, I remember vividly, because I've been following Nikki Haley for a while. I like smart women who, are tough and get things done. She was the governor of South Carolina.
Yep.
I remember vividly 4 years ago, she was at the RNC, full on embarrassed to be there. I mean, we can pull up the clip. She was embarrassed to be there. Now, 4 years later, she's one of the main speakers on the first night of the RNC. But smart, sharp, powerful, Nikki Haley. I mean,
what stuck out? What did she say that stuck out? Any specific word? Do you have notes on what she said that stuck out?
I mean, I think the common theme was, cancel culture, law and order.
Yeah.
There's been different themes in the RNC versus the DNC.
Yep.
The DNC was all about COVID, right? Empathy, just sort of pitting the two major differences against Biden and Trump.
Mm-hmm.
This one at law and order, America first. I think she's got her shit together. I'll give her that. I think she definitely has aspirations for a presidential run, and whether that's 4 to 8 years, I think Nikki Haley is definitely.
She's got a big upside. She's got a
Major
very, very
upside,
big upside.
for
Who were
sure.
you not impressed with? And by the way, if you're listening to this, who were you impressed with and who were you not impressed with? Whose speech stuck out and what was it? I'm actually curious. Go ahead.
I'm not a fan of nepotism. So Don Jr. just kind of getting parade up there, like, you know, he's got some, as we discussed earlier, some big shoes to fill. I don't think he'll ever get out of his father's shadow. That's my opinion. I think his lover slash, you know, we'll keep it PG.
Kimberly.
Yeah, Kimberly
Yep.
Guilfoyle. It sounded like she was, you know, somehow she ended up speaking. Why is she speaking? Because she's banging Don Jr. and, you know, and she's a Republican voice, although she used to be married to our good friend out in California, Gavin
Your
Newsom.
best friend, Gavin.
That's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
guy.
That's
Great
right,
hair.
that's right.
He gets his hair cut at Rapattoni's. Great hair, right?
Governor Newsom.
Yeah, great guy. Obviously, they paraded Tim Scott out there, who
Crushed it.
He did his thing. They one Democrat, Vernon Jones, out of Georgia,
Yep.
came and did his
Yep.
thing. Our mutual friend Herschel Walker came out there. He did a couple push-ups.
What'd you think about what he said?
I've known Donald Trump for 37 years.
Yeah.
He ain't a racist. All right, cool. Congrats. Like, I mean, if there's people I'm going to hear from, it's not like, that's like saying, I know you have opinions on LeBron.
Yeah.
I'd rather hear from LeBron, who's current and relevant these days, than a, you know, guy who hasn't been relevant in 30 years. Herschel Walker, respect, amazing football player. I don't necessarily need to think what he thinks politically, especially, obviously, he has bias. He's been friends with Donald Trump for 37 years, but respect to Herschel. But, you know,
Okay, how about yourself, Michael?
And I enjoyed it. You know,
Try to keep that mic in front of you.
All right.
Go ahead.
If you know, I saw this morning last week's convention. There wasn't an American flag on the stage. There wasn't
DNC.
Yeah, it was so different. The two vibes.
there wasn't an American flag?
No. Did you see the stage? There wasn't anything on there.
I don't know. I
So,
saw a lot of American stuff.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah. And then
Speaking of that.
it just seems so dark. It was like, you know,
Last
the country.
week.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the country is in turmoil, and the country's this. And last night was kind of a pick me up. It kind of got me excited. I enjoyed Tim Scott. Is that his name? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoyed what he had to say.
They call him Token Tim.
Yeah, the Kimberly. It was
Guilfoyle.
that was disturbing. I mean, that was just disturbing. I mean,
To
What
listen
were your
to
thoughts on that?
yeah, I just kind of thought she was yelling at me. I kind of felt a little. I jumped in the shower at that point. I was like, I can't take any more of her, so I'm just gonna take a break here.
That can be taken in different ways. After you watch it, you could jump in the shower. But okay, what
Yeah,
else?
it was a regular warm shower. It wasn't a cold shower. So yeah, no, it was kind of disturbing. But I enjoy. You know, I did like the fact that you know, Donald Trump made appearance after appearance during it, and I guess that's unprecedented. You know, it's I guess they're usually last speaker and they're hidden
The
until
ego
the
thing.
end.
He wants to be seen.
But you know what, though? I think we wanted to see him. You know, I think that it was important to me to see what he was doing and speaking off of a, you know, not reading, you know, and being himself. And that's kind of what I wanted to see more of anyway, you know, and I think that's
You
what
wanted to see more of what?
just him being a regular, you know,
Trump.
regular
You
guy.
want more of regular Trump.
Yeah.
You want more regular guy Trump. You want more off the cuff Trump.
No,
you want more of that.
Yeah.
4 more years of that.
Yes, absolutely. I want 4 more years of Trump for sure. I don't want 4 more years, and let's not get it twisted. It's not going to be. I'm not looking for vulgarity. I'm not looking for.
Oh, because you're going to get that. But what else are you looking
Yeah,
for?
you know what though? I'm willing to take the shit with the sugar. You know what I mean? I mean, the fact is, you know, things are going well. You know, since he's been in office, I've made accomplishments personally. I've watched people around me make accomplishments. You know, I just watched the debate between Hillary and President Trump last week. Now, if she says he's going to do this, he's going to kill the economy, women are no longer going to have rights, and this and that, a whole litany of things that he was going to do. Here we go 4 years later, none of those things happened. In fact, he is actually pursuing the things that he said that he was going to do. So, you know, I don't like his delivery. I don't think I'd hang out with the guy. I think it'd be embarrassing, you know, to have somebody talk like that around me. But the fact of the matter is, you know, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not going to grab somebody that doesn't you know what I mean, ask me to grab them or whatever.
You're willing to take the good with the bad, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm not going to judge the guy. We didn't judge Clinton. You know, I didn't judge Clinton on the job that he was doing based on what he was doing in the Oval Office. I really didn't care. Now, a lot of people say, well, if he's going to lie to his wife, he's going to lie to me. You know, and you know, but Donald Trump, I don't think is going to grab me. I don't think, you know what I'm saying. So I think he's doing a great job. So I want 4 more years to answer your question. Yeah,
4 more years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go down your list. You got a lot of notes
here's what
here.
I got.
What do you got? What do you got from last
if you remember
night?
DNC, we had a few key words, right? Trust, science, all those words.
Science.
By the way, it was very interesting listening to Michael give his perspective on Trump. As a small business owner, his life and the people around his life got better because of President Trump. So that's an interesting take. But here's the key words. Here's the key words that I wrote down on the differences between the two. One was Democrats blame America for everything, okay? DNC talked about how much they despise America. This was about dreams, okay? This was about dreams. DNC was about nightmare. This is all about dreams. Everything was dreams, 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 dreams. And it was different on the other side. I'll go down the aisle with every one of them. I have 16, 17 speakers here. I'll just give you the main highlights. Jim Jordan talked about the Democrats want to defund police, defund border patrol, defund the military. We won't let you go to church, but we'll let you protest. We won't let you go to work, but we'll let you riot. It's kind of interesting. Then he told a story about his nephew, Eli, who died a few years, last year, I believe. And the father's name of Eli is Todd. And Trump calls Jim Jordan and say, how you doing? He says, how's the family doing? So, well, we're not doing too well. Then Jim Jordan asked, would you be willing to talk to the father for a few minutes? Trump got on the phone and talked to Todd for 5 minutes, and the family was sitting there just to mourn together the loss of a child. You know, this kid was a prodigy coming up with a wrestler. So Jim talked about the connection side of what he did on the family side. I thought it was a powerful message that he gave. The couple who pointed guns at the BLM protesters in St. Louis, they spoke. And I don't know if you saw that talk or not. They just got up and they said, look, you know, none of us are looting outside the house. We're charged. He says, none of the looters were charged with a crime, but we were. So let me get this straight. People are coming to my house, my private property, and I'm the one that's charged with a crime and they're not? How does that make any sense? So they're protecting the looters, but they're not protecting the citizens. They talk about pro-Second Amendment. We're not the kind of people that back down. Neither is Donald Trump. Donald Trump brought us the best economy ever, but the Democrats have brought us nothing but distraction. So that was them. Good talk, safe, good talk that they gave. Vernon Jones, I thought, crushed it. He's the guy you were talking about, the Georgia Democrat state representative. He said black people are free with free minds. So he didn't like the fact that Democrats said, I cannot believe you're going to speak at the RNC. And, you know, he says, I got letters, I got threats. They told me to resign, all this. He says, that's the thing with the black mob. They do this just because I am supporting a president that's doing good for them. He says, here's Joe Biden who talks about he's going to make change. He says, you've been in office for 47 years. Trump's been in office for 3 years. You've been in office for 47 years. You had a chance to make results. You have no results. It's all talk, no action. Great point, 47 years. That was interesting. He says, if I work hard, he says, my dad told me, hey, son, if you work hard, treat people fairly, there's nothing you couldn't accomplish in your life. Again, dreams. That's the messaging, right? He says Trump did a historical criminal justice reform, what he did. He spoke about police officers, and he says, that's Vernon Jones. I thought it was a good talk. Nikki Haley, she came out and she told a story about Ambassador Jeane Kirkpatrick, that in 1984 he gave this talk, this ambassador, because she was also an ambassador, Nikki Haley.
The UN, right?
She said that this ambassador during Reagan in 1984 says Democrats always blame America first. Democrats always blame America first. That's her point in the first 30 seconds, by the way, when she came out. There was a couple guys that made points like that. Her and Matt Gaetz was right off the bat. So she made that point, and she said Joe has a record of weakness and failure. Joe Biden is good for Iran and ISIS, great for communist China, and godsend for anyone who wants America to apologize, abstain, abandon our values. Let me say this one more time, what she said. It's a powerful line. Joe Biden has a record of weakness and failure. He's good for Iran and ISIS, great for communist China, and God sent for anyone who wants America to apologize, abstain, and abandon our values. Okay, that's a very strong statement. She talked about cutting taxes. We cut taxes. They raised them in her state. When we brought good jobs to South Carolina, Obama and Biden sued her state. They want to tell Americans how to think. Americans know how to think. Democrats love telling everyone that America's a racist nation. America's not a racist nation. Then she talked about cops matter, black cops matter, black cops' lives matter, black small business owners' lives matter. And then she went on this part with progress, which I thought, again, she crushed it. She gave a very good message. It's a kind of a message that maybe 8 years from now, people are going to look at it and say, what's the bench look like? You know, when Obama gave that talk in 2004, they're like, listen, that's a good bench. We have a guy that we can do something around in 2008. She's kind of getting into that league. She's both not liked by some Republicans and not liked by some Democrats, which could be a good thing when she runs, because that's kind of like what Trump had going on. She's got a similar Trump card in a different way that could work for Matt Gaetz. Came out the gates firing. He said, first sentence, I'm speaking to you in an auditorium emptier than Joe Biden's schedule. It's his opening line. I'm speaking to you in an auditorium emptier than Joe Biden's schedule. Pretty strong opening line when you say that, by the way. Settle for Biden is a hashtag promoted by AOC and Socialist. Let me say this one more time. AOC and the Socialists have a hashtag that's being used on Twitter. I don't even know if you know about it. It's called Settle for Biden. Settle for Biden. Meaning, let's just settle for Biden. Forget about Trump. Let's get this guy out. But don't get it twisted. AOC and the Socialists do not want Biden. I mean, you saw who she endorsed. The left wing wants to make America weaker to move their agenda forward, so that was his message. Andrew Pollack, school safety activist, gunman shot his daughter 5 times, and she died on February 14, 2018. This is a guy with a lot of swagger, a lot of confidence, and heartfelt. You feel this guy. And after his daughter's murder, I noticed the media wasn't interested in the facts. So they didn't tell her story, but they told other stories. His daughter, innocent daughter in school, gets shot. Can you imagine your kid dies, gets shot 5 times just because? What does she do? She did nothing. So he told that story. Very powerful. Far-left Democrats made the shooting in the school possible. That's Andrew Pollack. Donald Trump Jr., I mean, he was interesting to me. The one thing that he did say that was powerful, he said the Chinese Communist Party prefers Biden, okay, which he's right. He sold a dream. It was constant dream. America's about dream. Imagine. He used the word imagine, I think, 10 times. Imagine a world where you can live your dreams. You can have that. You can have, he kept saying this, you can have that. I thought he did a good job. Kimberly was a little bit uncomfortable watching her, especially if you watch her on 2.0 speed on YouTube. It was very difficult watching her. It almost seemed like there's a video of them, of Donald Trump Jr. drinking 2 Red Bulls before the talk. Okay, on Instagram he posted, and his dad shared it. It looked like she had one too many Red Bulls when she gave the talk. She talked about human sex trafficking and, in President Trump's America, we like things up, is what she said. In President Trump's America, we like things up. The market, you have to watch it.
Okay.
The church, market, all this other stuff, could be taken out of context. Herschel Walker said what he said. Ronna McDaniel, RNC chair. She said, I'm the second woman in 164 years to run the RNC. And he didn't choose me because I'm a woman. He chose me because I'm qualified to do this job. Second woman, which is pretty interesting that everybody says Trump doesn't support women, yet the RNC chair is a woman. It's kind of, and by the way, somebody called that Trump the other day and says, yes, the RNC chairman is a woman. And they were shocked. Most people didn't even know this, that is the case.
Does Trump choose the head of the RNC?
Yes.
The president chooses the head of the RNC?
So the support has to come from there. Kim Klacik, Baltimore, this girl's fireball, young candidate of Baltimore whose video went viral. She crushed it again. Democrats assume that black people will constantly vote for them blindly.
She seems legit.
She says, we want safety in our neighborhood, lower taxes, better education, better jobs, and I think she's got a good career ahead of her. Maximo Alvarez did a great job when, he escaped Fidel Castro and communist regime to come over here. I thought he did a fantastic job. Tim Scott talked about education, 7 million jobs pre-COVID. 2/3 of the jobs that Trump created out of the 7 million went to women, Latinos, and African-American. That's just record-breaking on what he did. Charlie Kirk gave a good job. Trump got up there and he talked about the 80 million ballots right off the bat. In the first 30 seconds, what he talked about is the ballots, his post office. First thing he talked about was that. It wasn't like he took 20 minutes. You have to know that when you're giving a speech, you got to know your first minute's going to be remembered. Whatever you say in the minute, that's what everyone's going to watch. Not on minute 51, not minute 48. Minute 1, he talked about 80 million ballots, and they're working. Post office scandal. He says, I'm preparing all of you. They're already talking about it. Because they're talking about it, it's their strategy. It is a scandal. He called it the most important election in the history of our country. He said, success brings people together. He says, pre-COVID, while everybody was making money, 401ks was good, Democrats were very happy with me because success brings people together. Now, because of COVID, things have divided. So look at your 401k. You should look at your 401k because it's doing good, because the market's back up. NASDAQ has broken the record 16 times now. Farmers, he got them $28 billion from China. November 4th, everything's going back to normal. Biden's comment, I'd shut down the economy if, kind of took a shot there. And then he talked about vaccine stage 3 trials. It's, most people wouldn't predict it go this far. Till a few minutes ago, nobody knew I was coming. Last minute, he decided to come and talk because of what that state did. He campaigned there before. He called MSNBC the usual MSDNC. DNC took Under God out of the national anthem on 2 of their meetings that they had. When they did not the national anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance, they took Under God out. It was during 2 meetings. It was the LGBTQ caucus meeting and the Muslim Delegates Assembly. They didn't say Under God. And then they're trying to steal the election, rig the election. Bernie Sanders is the greatest loser I've ever met. This guy's so happy. You just lost. What are you happy about? He called Bernie Sanders the greatest loser ever. He says, you lost your chance to be a president. Why are you smiling? China had its worst year in 67 years, which is what's happened to their economy. We now have it that the signature doesn't have to be verified. Signature doesn't have to be verified to vote. It's kind of weird. We build their wall. It'll be done shortly. And he talked about some of his accomplishments, how many judges they chose, cut drug prices first time in 51 years. Can you imagine? 51 years, first time they cut drug prices. Anyways, so that's the message he gave, okay, with the speakers that spoke there. It was, the first night to me was watching it, you were kind of like, here's the best example I'll give you. I didn't like to go to church. Here's why I didn't like to go to church. You'd go to church, and there was pastors who would get up to collect money, and this happens sometimes in the Army. There's a big Armenian church that had a big falling out, and a lot of people that had money left this church, and a lot of them, quite frankly, stepped away from the religion of Christianity because of the way that church handled things. My friend was a hardcore Christian. He converted me, and he stepped away, okay? And you know what it had to do with? Money. But here's one of the things on how church uses the Bible. There's 2 ways they convert people. One of them, they get up, and the pastor says what? The pastor says, if you don't give your life to Christ, you're going to hell. Here's what hell looks like. You ever seen these advertisements? They paint what hell looks like with volcanoes and fire, and you're going to be burning up in hell.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's the other pastor that gets up and says, listen, man, you can go to heaven. Let me tell you what heaven looks like. You're going to see your family. Maybe you've been away from your grandma or your mom or your husband. You're going to see them again. This is heaven. So they're both trying to get people to convert, to go to heaven. One is selling hell. The other one is selling heaven. DNC was selling hell. RNC was selling heaven. Very big difference in perspective. And the biggest churches in the world, they tend to sell heaven. Right now, heaven's being sold on one side, not the other side.
I think it's ironic where, it's just very ironic. In 2016, what was Donald Trump selling? He was selling hell. The American dream is dead. Only I can save it.
Yeah.
It's chaos in the streets. I'm the law and order candidate. 4 years ago, he was selling the hell version. Now, ironically, he's selling the heaven version.
I don't know about that. I think both him and Obama sold a dream. I actually think both him and Obama sold a dream. Let me tell you, Obama's speech, if you've not watched Obama's speech and inauguration speech, it was a semi-MLK type of speech. I just got the chills, man.
Obama's speech.
Have you ever seen Obama's?
No, wait.
Have you ever heard his speech?
Yeah, of course.
It's a dream speech.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you were sitting there, Republicans voted for this guy because they sold you the dream. I'm not taking RNC or DNC. I'm telling you, Obama won 2 terms because he sold the flipping dream. Mm-hmm. George Bush Sr. lost 2nd term because he sold a nightmare. And Clinton sold a dream. Mm-hmm. And Trump is selling the dream, and Biden's selling a nightmare. It's not an effective business model.
This time around, I totally agree with you.
This time around, it's not going to work in their favor, by the way.
2016, he was selling more of a nightmare scenario.
No, 2016, he was...
The things that were Trump was coming out of Trump's mouth is, America's a shithole, it's falling apart, we're going to make it great again.
He was selling the fact that why are we bowing down to our enemies? Because Obama went to the Middle Eastern tour, he says, why is America bowing to everybody? Why are we giving all this money to China? Why are we doing all this stuff? Why are we not protecting ourselves? Let's build a wall and protect us first rather than protect other people. Why are we going to half of these wars? We don't need to go to these wars. Why are we involved in every one of these wars? Mm-hmm. Let's take care of us first. That is a form of selling the dream. That is selling the dream. It's not selling the nightmare. You're buying a dream right now. The audience right now, I'm talking to one of my former employees Mickey and I were having a conversation. She's a former Marine. I said, Mickey, what are you doing? Who are you voting for? She says, honestly, Pat, I'm undecided. I'm waiting to finish watching RNC. I watch DNC, and I'm watching R. She's part of 10%.
10% that is undecided. Did you know that, by the way?
No.
10% is what
42% are
Republican?
for sure voting Republican.
100%.
46%.
44% Democrat.
For sure voting Democrat. That's 42, 44. So now we're at
4%
86.
is
4% Libertarian, Green.
Yep.
Shout out to Joe Jorgensen. We know we got a huge Joe Jorgensen community out there. So that's 90%. 10% of America has no clue what they're doing. 10%. You know who's part of that 10%? My grandma. My grandma. She's voted for Democrats. She's voted for Republicans.
But I respect that. Let me tell you, I respect that. To me, I respect that, to know that you're actually watching to see what's being said. There's a part of the 42% Republicans that's kind of like, they're both blind, just so you know, the 42 and 44. They're both blindly following it because, you know, what a Kennedy Democrat is different than what a Biden Democrat is. A Kennedy Democrat, they were not bowing down to the socialists. Kennedy became a president and lowered the taxes. Biden saying, I'm raising the taxes. And they say, why are you lowering the taxes? It says, for you to go become rich. For you to go become prosperous. Use these lower taxes to protect your family. It's a different Democrat today than it was before. Very different Democrat than it was.
I find it ironic that obviously the reason that Biden ran was, you know, because he saw what Trump was doing. But the other fact was the Democratic Party, and this is why I'm just consider myself more libertarian these days, is being pulled way too far to the left. The Bernies, the Ocasio-Cortezes, and I find it ironic that Biden ran because he's like, look, I think we would all agree he's a moderate. He's a moderate Democrat. He's not a leftist communist. So it's ironic that the Democratic side, the leftists, the Ocasio-Cortezes are basically saying settle for Biden, right? You know, he's not as left as we should, right? So in his own party, they're basically saying that he's not too left. And then obviously the Republicans are saying socialist agenda, this communist agenda, this leftist agenda. So which one is it? You know, you got to decide for yourself. If you're in the 10%, you're only decided.
Michael, what do you think?
Well, you know, my thing with Trump, and I'll give you an analogy. I believe him. I believe in what they're selling. I do believe in they're selling this dream, and I believe in the dream. I've made steps towards what they're promoting, and it's kind of, I always go back to 2.5 years ago. I fell in love with my wife. I fell in love at 50 years old with a woman that changed my life completely. On a daily basis, I wanted everyone to feel that. And I believe Donald Trump wants everyone to feel successful, have money, eat, provide for their children. I really, truly believe that. I believe that he's a patriot. I believe that he's saying just get the work in. I mean, you know, people say, well, you know, he started with a loan from his dad. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter whether you start with $1 or $10 million. It really doesn't matter. Get the work in, you know, and I think that's kind of what he's pushed me to do, my family to do. I've got a whole house full of people that, you know, kind of dig him too and are taking advantage of the things that, you know, we're able to today. And I'm worried about the other side. I am. I'm worried about the other side. I think it's a slippery slope. You know, for me, trust is everything. You know, and I don't trust either side, but I feel like I trust Trump's side.
See, I agree with you. I do think that Trump wants you to succeed. I think he wants you to do well. I think he wants you to prosper. But there's an if with that, Mr. Rapattoni. If you like him. If you say nice things about him. If you agree with him. Now, if you say not so nice things about him or don't agree with him, he don't give two fucks about you. And that's the problem with Donald Trump, is that he plays to his base. He plays to his base. He plays to his 42%.
What's the difference with the other side?
I'm not saying the other side is better, but we're talking about Trump right now.
You tell me who Obama liked that didn't like him. You tell me how often he went to. Here's the difference. But when you say something like that, you have to have credence behind it. Because here's how you got to think about it.
Am I wrong, though?
About
Trump?
100% you're right. I'm with you. But
I am right about Trump.
But wait a minute. But you cannot say that. But you cannot say that and only give it from one side. Meaning, do you think if Anderson Cooper invited Trump to be a guest on CNN, you think Trump shows up?
I think he would.
You think if Bill O'Reilly on his second term invited Obama, you think Obama shows up?
I don't think Obama.
Of course he doesn't.
Yeah.
Why not, though?
I think Trump likes the confrontation.
How many times do you think Hillary Clinton sat down with Hannity or O'Reilly or
No.
Why not, though? Why not?
I totally hear you.
But
on
why
that.
not,
Totally.
though?
They don't want the confrontation. They don't want to be called out. They want the safe zone.
Because what you just said, even though it's true, it's 100 times more true on the other side. Because at least Trump will sit with HBO and say, call my ass out, any questions you want. There is no way in the world you can do with the other side. You have to sit there with the other side. 88 questions you cannot ask me. 92 topics you cannot bring up.
Which is bullshit. I will say that.
You know what Trump says?
That
you know what
is
Trump
an
says?
call about
Trump says, dude, ask me anything you want. Do you realize, like, to me, I'm a guy, I didn't grow up in the right side. I'm a guy that says, hey, you know what? I respect that. Of course everybody wants to be liked. You know, of course everybody wants to be in an environment that they feel better in. You want to go to dinner with people like, listen, a big part of right now, I'm choosing the board for the field. I have a very big decision I have to make right now. I have to make the decision on the people that are going to be making the decisions for the future of the company. I'm choosing a field advisory board right now, okay? Guess what's one of my biggest factors that I'm looking at? They love the company. They're 100% in line with the company. They're performing. They're in the game today. They're growing the company today. And you know what's one of them? That they all get along. Meaning, not they all agree. I didn't say agree. That they get along. That they trust each other. You naturally are like that. Every one of us is naturally like that. I don't think that's the differentiator. Let me tell you what's one of the biggest concerns for me. And this is above anything else I will vote for. I know it's going to sound weird when I say this to you, and maybe it won't sound weird to you. If you're too easy on China, you're not getting my vote. If on the left, if the left had a candidate that came out and campaigned against China, 100%, we cannot trust these folks, et cetera, and that person had a track record of pushing it, and the right came out defending China in today's market, I'm probably voting left. Let me say that one more time to you. If somebody came out that is against China and the right is for China, I'm listening to this candidate. People are underestimating the.
Is that your number one?
Buddy, $400 billion China's investing into Iran. What the hell are you investing $400 billion into Iran for? $15 billion into Armenia, billions of dollars into Africa. What are you doing? What are you doing it for? What's your intention?
They're trying to take over the world, China.
You know how much property they bought here in Texas? What are you doing? What's your motive?
What do you think their motive is?
What do you think their motive is? Made in China 2025. They've casted their vision. They've told the world what their motive is. We want to take over the world. We want to be bigger than America.
Is that the number one agenda that you would vote for? Number one.
Oh, you can never underestimate an enemy. Never under. I can say comfortably, U.S. has never had a bigger enemy than China, not Russia. U.S. has never had a bigger enemy than China. No way.
Economically, you're saying.
Listen, Russia. You know who
economically,
Russia? Here's who Russia was. Russia was the one that if you got into a street fight, guess who's going to beat you? You're Russia. Who would beat you?
Who would beat you?
If Russia was a human being in the 80s, remember whole Drago, if he can change, I can change. We can all, Rocky IV.
They will crush you.
Okay. If Russia was a man and U.S. was a man and they had a fist fight, who wins in the 80s? Fist fight.
America.
No way. No way. No way.
Come on, buddy.
There's no way.
America.
You know why Russia would win?
Why is that?
Because Russia would grab a glass, hit it against it.
They'd be the wrestler that comes in with the chair, hits you with the chair.
But the point is that you got to respect about Russia. They will tell you we're going to hit you at the head with the glass.
Right.
They're going to. I'm going to use the baseball bat. I swear to God.
I mean, look at the dissident in Russia. The guy poisoned the other day, right?
That's we're going to poison. By the way, they validated it yesterday that it was.
We're going to come out. We're going to poison you straight up.
There is a part of it that for me is an honest relationship, but China's not like that. China's the one that gets into a street fight. They're going to be like, yes, no problem. Yeah, it's okay. No, we don't want to fight. We don't want to fight. But guess what? They sent 6 people to your house already. That's how. So if the 10% is listening to this, we got 1619. But is that a high? Is that an all-time high? We got 1619 right now, and I wasn't even paying attention to it. By the way, press thumbs up if you're enjoying this and share it as we're going through it here. We got last 20 minutes here. We got all of us got a lot of things to do.
We giving out free haircuts to somebody? Somebody's got to get a free haircut here.
Well, how about this? The first 2 that come to your shop get a free haircut. Is that good with that?
Sure.
First absolutely. 2 people that go to Rapattoni's barbershop. But you can get a free haircut, but you got to buy the Rapattoni shirt. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. So if you give me that shirt, I still want to go back to this China topic. If somebody goes to Rapattoni's barbershop in Plano, he's in East Plano, and you buy one of these shirts, it's $20. I wore this on the last podcast. He'll give you a free haircut. Okay, let's get back to it. Put
Back
a
to
thumbs
China,
up.
yeah.
Back to China.
So just to recap what you said, one is aggressive and one is passive aggressive.
You do not mess with passive aggressive, man. Let me tell you. You don't. I mean, look, TikTok's now suing U.S., okay? They're suing Trump. You know, you're seeing some of this stuff these guys are doing. Look at LeBron James and Goodyear. Can you pull up this article for me, please? Look at LeBron James.
They won again last night. They won
owns,
again.
China owns the first time in my life as a Laker fan that I'm not rooting for the Lakers simply because of LeBron James.
Wow.
Never in my life have I said this.
You got Portland going to the finals.
I don't have Portland going to the finals.
Western Conference.
No, I don't have Portland going to the finals, but I do have Clippers going to the finals. Okay, go to the article. LeBron James. Hang on, let me read the top. Go down a little bit, Kai. Oh, my gosh, buddy. I can't read the main article.
Yeah, right there.
LeBron James, China, comments dragged up in a Donald Trump Goodyear boycott. So somebody comes out and says, you know, what they say about Goodyear. LeBron turns around and says, we don't bend and we don't break for nobody, calling out to Trump because Goodyear is based out of where? Ohio. I'm an Akron kid. Now go to the bottom and look at the tweet that he gets back from Will Cain. Except the Chinese Communist Party. Meaning, we don't bend, fold, or break for nobody except for the Chinese Communist Party. Yeah. You ever heard LeBron say one bad thing about China? You ever heard anybody say anything bad about China?
We heard one person.
Not from him.
No, we heard one person.
And what happened to him?
Daryl Morey. He
from
was
Houston.
He was told to shut his mouth.
What happened to him?
Yeah, he
got crucified.
Yeah, of course.
By the way, and then Adam Silver 2 years later agreed with them. But not in that moment. Even Steve Kerr disagreed with them. Even LeBron James disagreed with them.
There's a lot of double standard going on in the NBA regarding China.
I don't care about the double standard part. I don't worry about LeBron James and the NBA. They do what they do. He's making his money. Good for the James family. I think, to be honest with you, the level of respect I have for him as a person who went from the streets, no father figure, the mother, you know, for him to become who he's becoming. You don't have dirt on LeBron. He's done a great job for himself. That part I got a lot of respect for what he's done. He's a great example for other people that want to follow. Stay clean, do that. Great. Husband, family guy, Super Taco Tuesday, all of that. I'm not talking about NBA. NBA is irrelevant in this topic. What is relevant is the fact that the NBA is afraid of China. Why is the NBA afraid of China? Why? Because China
comes down to money, doesn't it?
Why are you afraid of China? So look at the amount of power China has, where China says, don't worry, we're going to win all your people. Because we got 1.5 billion people here, and every one of them can be bought because we have eyeballs. Mm-hmm. It's okay. So if the American people are listening to this, and some of you guys that are listening to this, you're not a Republican. You're not a Democrat. And by the way, you know what I mean when some people say, I'm a Republican, but they hate Trump. I hate those, when people go in that angle. And yeah, I had a person here that was working with me saying, I'm a Republican. I said, when's the last time you voted Republican? 20 years ago. You're not a Republican. You're a Democrat. You just forgot to change to Democrat. You know how people say, I'm a Democrat, but they haven't voted Democrat for 20 years? Listen, man, you're a Republican. You just haven't changed yourself. I'm truly talking to people that can be persuaded. Mm-hmm. If you can be persuaded, you have to ask yourself who's the number one enemy and which side supports the number one enemy. Whichever side is afraid of the number one enemy, you better vote based on that. Because the number one enemy just put $400 billion in Iran, and they're wanting to go into a lot of different industries.
Let me ask you something, Pat, because obviously you've got major stance on China. When did China officially become the number one enemy of the United States? Was it 2 years ago? Was it 10 years ago? Was it 20 years ago?
It's been going.
How long has it been going on?
Well, based on who says, based on what? Based on what is being said, or based on quietly they've been building themselves up? Based on quietly when the 2008 Olympics, I think it was 2008 Olympics in China, when they showed up and everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's the greatest opening ceremony I've ever seen. They are so competitive, but nobody knew how dark they were and how bad they could get and how manipulative they're willing to get. You cannot underestimate the power of what they have. Anyways, let's continue with what we have right now. Let's talk about some business. Toys R Us. How about this? Toys R Us wants to partner with Amazon. So let me get this straight. Amazon puts you out of business. Now you want to partner up with them? Nearly 3 years after Toys R Us blamed Amazon for its dramatic downfall, the recently resuscitated toy brand is now leaning on the e-commerce giant to support its online orders. The website was first launched in October of 2019 as part of a joint venture with Target. Now they want to work with Amazon. Amazon will now serve as a primary fulfillment partner for orders placed through the Toys R Us website. Do you think this is going to work? And if yes, why? Here's what I think, and then I'll ask you guys. I think models like this, and I told you guys kind of briefly yesterday, Toys R Us and Amazon. Why would Toys R Us make this work? For one reason. If Toys R Us brought new executives that weren't there, that got screwed with Amazon, they don't care about it because they're not emotionally tied to the rejection that Amazon gave them when they put them out of business. But if Toys R Us has the same executive team, there's no way this is going to work because pride's going to get in the way. So sometimes these things can work to bring them back up. But do you think this can work with Toys R Us and Amazon, of them going back to them? Yes, no? What do you think?
It comes down to new leadership. Is basically.
I think it's new leadership.
You know, what do I think about Toys R Us? Pat, I don't want to grow up. But even if I did, I'd always be a Toys R Us kid.
Would you be?
I always would be. I mean,
so funny you say that, and I went straight to Toys R Us.
Yeah. I don't want to grow up, but even if I did, I'd always be a Toys R Us kid.
We just talked about commercials
I mean,
earlier.
are you kidding me? We're talking about iconic commercials, iconic brands.
So you don't think it's going away?
I mean, what other toy brands are out there these days? I know there's like the one little kid that makes like $50 billion a year, just Scotty's Toy Shop or Timmy's Toolbox.
Yeah.
What's the kid's name? Whatever it is, I'm sure your kids love them. But who's the number one brand for toys these days? You know, it kind of hurt my heart a little bit when Toys R Us went away. What was that, about 2 years ago?
Couple years ago.
I don't want to grow up, Rapattoni. I don't want to grow
So is it
up,
kinda
but
like-
even if I did,
You want to see them come
I'd
back?
always be a Toys R Us kid. I would.
Do you want to see them come back, or do you
I would
think
love
they're
to
going
see
to
them come back.
So we got the emotional side.
Yeah,
Can we buy them a toy afterwards? Like
Can
a
you get me a
rubber ducky?
freaking Joey the Giraffe toy already?
Logically, do you
I don't
think this
wanna-
is going to work?
I think, I don't know the mechanics behind it. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on with
Yeah.
Amazon and we're going to Target. I'm saying on an emotional level. You know, I don't have kids. But
JJ Biscuit just said, "Don't make me sad, Sam." He's crying because he misses those days.
I know.
What do you think?
I love the idea.
I'd love
love
to
the
see him
idea.
come
I think it's going to be successful. I would rather, if I was going to go buy toys, and I do a ton of Amazon shopping, and I would prefer to go buy toys on a Toys R Us website if their software is right and it's going to be the ease of purchase.
Yeah.
I think it's going to do amazing. I love that they attach themselves to Amazon because why not? If you're this little guy that just
Good
got
for them
beat
for setting
half to
aside
death,
ego, by the way.
What's
It's
that?
not good for them for setting aside ego. That's not easy to do.
I don't
Yeah,
know if
right,
it's setting aside ego. They'd have no other choice. They're out of business.
It's not easy, buddy. It's not easy.
Hey, you want to make $0 or you want to split $100 billion with
Bro,
me, or whatever the number is?
The guy that comes, whoops your ass, and takes your wife away from you, and you say, "Let's go out to
Hey, you
dinner.
got to partner up with them.
Let's start a business together."
Or do you want to just stay homeless and live by yourself and not have any sex with anybody?
Would you do that? Would you do that?
Something
comes,
is better than nothing.
beats the hell out of you.
Don't get
takes
any
your
thoughts out there, valutators. I'll tell you what, I got Rapattoni here. Don't get any freaking thoughts about coming with my make-believe wife.
It's a little weird. It's a little weird.
Touche. However,
Yeah,
something's better than nothing. Right now, they got no revenue. They got nothing going on.
Okay.
And when they
All
grow
right.
up, even when they did,
But if you
it'd
get,
always be a
but
Rapattoni kid.
if you keep the wife out of it, because I think it gets really personal there. But if you just get your ass kicked in a schoolyard, the guy's just bigger.
If
and
you keep the wife out of it.
It's always the Italian guy. It's always the Italian guy. Keep the wives out of it,
I'm
Pat.
just saying, 'cause
Good work.
Keep the
Get
wife
out.
out of it.
I think that's my line. But other
That's
than that,
cool.
I think I would team up with the big guy that just gave me the beating of my life.
Yeah, of
you know, and I'd
You
want
just
him to be
whooped
my
your
friend.
ass. All right, you taught
Yeah,
me a
right.
beat.
All
You
right.
gave me a beating.
Yeah.
You taught me a lesson.
Yeah.
Let's make some money together.
Michael
I hope
Adams
they
says,
make a
Pat,
comeback.
please give me your take on Tesla. Michael, I did at the beginning 5-10 minutes. You may want to watch it. It'll be a
New hot
Yeah,
chick.
we did cover that.
New
Okay,
hot
10 minutes. We got 10 minutes to cover 2 topics.
Boom,
Can
boom,
we do
boom.
that? 10 minutes to 2 topics. One of them I want to cover is Kellyanne Conway resigning. Okay, because I think this is good for you to say a couple thoughts.
And what's the second one?
Kellyanne, I don't know. We can do Luca. Why
Why are you avoiding the big one? Why are you avoiding the big one?
I don't really care which one you want to touch up. Which
Are
one you want to go?
Republican or Democratic presidents better for the economy?
We can talk about that as well.
Okay.
Okay, but let's do Kellyanne Conway.
Yes.
This is yours. Kellyanne Conway benefits you, by the way.
Oh,
So
does she?
what are you tripping about? This is
I'm not tripping it.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right, so
we've got a whole page on that.
Bro, I got 50 topics I haven't touched. Mike Trout's rookie card sold for $3.9 million.
big deal.
I'm
It's a
a
big deal.
baseball card, and I'm not even going there. So, but tell me what you think. And by the way, Frank Collada died. Rest in peace, Frank
Rest in
Collada.
peace, Frank Collada.
A few million views with us when we did the interview with him. But Kellyanne Conway resigning, okay? Split house, challenges, daughter. Kai, I don't know if you have the video of her going live or not. If you do, it's on YouTube if you can pull that up. How big of a deal is this for Trump? How big of a deal? Is this a big hit, losing Kellyanne Conway?
Oh, I think it's a huge hit. I mean, she was
Tell
his
us why.
attack dog for. She would come out there, and what was her famous line? Alternative facts. It's alternative facts. We got our own alternative facts going on over here. As much as I would cringe when she would come on TV, we all would hope to have someone blindly follow you and just do whatever you do, your biddings that Kellyanne Conway did for Trump. Now, what's the catch with Kellyanne Conway? What's the big catch? Well, her husband was the most outspoken critic of Donald Trump. George Conway, conservative legal scholar. He started, what was it called? The Lincoln Project. What's the Lincoln Project?
Republicans against him, against Trump.
Okay, there's more Republicans against Trump these days than Democrats against Trump.
You're going to find out November 4th.
Oh, we're going to find out, all
November
right.
3rd.
But imagine that household for the last 3-4 years. Imagine that household where you have the biggest supporter of Donald Trump, Kellyanne Conway. You know, whether that was a paid support or actual real-life support, we'll find out. Because she definitely got paid. I mean, power is a hell of a thing. She's out there being the spokesperson. I don't know if
So it is a big hit.
Huge hit.
Okay.
And then you got George Conway out there. I mean, we talk about
how does that work?
How does that work in the bedroom? How does that work in the boardroom? How does that
work out good in the bedroom, by the way. But
fine.
you know what? You freaking say Trump.
Oh, yeah, say Trump. Say my name, bitch.
What do you think?
Man, you know, I've never heard her say anything that I understood. You know, that was, I mean, she...
Double talk.
Every time I watch it, I was what the hell did she just do to me?
Alternative facts,
I
man.
felt it felt personal. I felt a little violated. I was like, what the hell? I understood the question.
You felt violated?
Yeah.
What do you mean? She's defending your boy. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I just didn't understand the answer. Like, I understood the question, and I never understood any of the answers. You know, so
she did political hopscotch. Is that what it is?
And if that's what Trump needs, I don't think it's going to be a big hit. I think that I like this Kelly.
Kellyanne McEnany.
Oh man, yeah. You know, I love her.
She's also
She's not so bad to look at. Eh?
She's not. I follow everything she says, so I'm not confused as she goes through. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't think Kellyanne Conway is a big
it's
hit.
a bigger deal than people think it is.
I think okay.
Because I think Kellyanne Conway is a beast.
She's a pit bull.
She's a pit bull, and she's scary. And she scared the hell out of everybody on the left because they hated having her on, and they never got under her skin, and she kept herself together. But watch what happened here in the family. This should kind of give you an idea what's going on in that household. That's her daughter in the house going live.
Turn it off now, baby.
No, I'm not okay. Thanks, guys, though. Also, she keeps insulting my mental health. I'm just like, I'm just showing everyone the truth. Like, you're literally not letting me use my freedom of
Can
speech.
you imagine your daughter goes live in the household?
Daddy just wants you to shut it all down because not everybody's following you as well-meaning.
Okay, Anne?
Hi there.
Stop
We
trying
support
to...
your beliefs. This many people have nothing to do. That is amazing. It's so nice out.
Oh, my God.
Come on.
What are you doing?
Okay, pause it.
Out here.
Okay.
They got some family drama going on over there, man.
But you know what, man? Again, it goes back to dividing families. I don't like seeing this stuff because that family needs to keep their stuff in their household. No one, and if one of my kids went live and started showing what we do in the family household, go get a damn apartment. You're 18 years old. 17 years old, give me your phone. You ain't paying for the bills. That's my phone now. You ain't got a phone. You do something like that in my household, big problem.
She's 15. How old is she?
If you got two rules. You're under 18, give me your stuff. Everything. Yeah. Car keys, everything is mine. Your door can no longer be locked. I take every lock off your door. That's what we're doing. If you're 18, go get a place. Sorry, you can't live here anymore.
Wow.
You don't.
I think she applied for what's the terminology when you
emancipation.
No longer, what is it?
Emancipation.
Is it the emancipation where she no longer has to be living under the parents' roof? But that's got to be a tough situation where you have one person that's so outspoken in favor of Trump and one person that's so outspoken.
She's like her mommy, though.
But listen,
like
you know what it
mommy.
comes down to?
What?
In my opinion,
What?
she's 15 years old.
Yeah.
You know what they say is when you're young and you don't vote for a Democrat, you have no heart, and if you grow
No
up
brain.
and if you don't
Yeah.
vote for a Republican, you got no brain. That whole thing.
Yeah.
She's 15 years old. What kind of shit do you think she's getting in school? Your mom did this. Your mom's a piece of whatever. My parents said that your mom. You know what kind of crap she's probably getting in school? It's probably not pretty for that 15-year-old daughter.
I
It's
don't
obviously-
disagree. Yeah, I don't
probably
disagree.
leaking into the household.
But I don't disagree. But you got to realize, man, blood is blood. It's family. You protect family. You don't. The one thing with the kids, man, if I see anybody coming in between the kids, there's a problem there. What are you doing? It's your brother right there. I tell my boys, you guys matter more to each other than I do. You guys are going to be in each other's lives than I'm going to be in your life. You guys better be better to each other than you are to me.
Yeah.
This is your brother. This is your sister. You guys better respect one another. I don't tolerate any of that stuff. So when you see some of this stuff that's taking place, I'm uncomfortable even watching.
Yeah, but Pat,
it to see
you
that
got to
happen.
understand that you were raised right, and you've got to.
She doesn't seem like somebody that wouldn't raise her kids right.
I mean,
no, I don't think. I think there's a spirit of division that's getting the best of America. Remember Cain? Remember Cain? Do you remember Cain and Abel? If you were
Herman
Cain,
Cain?
no,
Oh.
Cain and Abel. If you
Rest
could
in
think
peace,
like
Herman Cain.
Cain, if you could
Yeah.
think like Cain, what would you do? You would divide families apart. Let's go to Luka. Luka was playing basketball. Okay,
Just
Clippers
doing what he
forward.
do.
Montreal's Harold
Harold.
apologized to Luka for calling the Mavs star a bitch-ass white boy while they
Yeah.
played the game. Okay, and they were fined again into each other's face. And the next time he apologized,
Yeah.
the NBA doesn't suspend or do anything. Now here's a question: If Luka called Harold the N-word, what does the NBA do? So you got bitch-ass white boy versus N-word. Bitch-ass white boy doesn't get you suspended. What does the N-word do to Luka if he did that in the playoffs? I don't know. I'm actually asking.
Well, N-word, you're can't. I mean, talk about cancel culture.
Would you be
can't say the
suspended?
N-word.
Would you be suspended?
For sure.
For sure. How many games?
You use the N-word in an NBA?
White guy toward not a black to a black.
But he did, okay.
White guy to a black guy.
Who
You're
even
suspended.
knows? You're, for sure.
Okay. What do you think about this? You play basketball before.
Yeah, of course.
How is this? Is this, normal stuff where it's okay both ways or it's not acceptable?
Okay, so number one, I've played basketball my whole life. I played high school. I played a little bit in college, a little bit of semi-pro. Do you know how many times I've been called a bitch-ass white boy?
How many times?
Infinite.
Okay.
Infinite amount. To the point where it just rolls off my skin. And I would beat black guys all the time, and I would be like, what's up, buddy? Check ball. No big deal. But unfortunately, it is a double standard. A white guy, a lot of times when I would play, I would play in downtown Miami, and I would sometimes be the only white guy on the court. And if a white goes, if a black guy's like, all right, like I got the white boy,
Yeah.
it's par for the course. There's no way in hell that I'm going to come out like, all right, I got the bitch-ass black guy on my team. Like, you don't even say that. You're not looking for drama. There is a double standard. It is what it is, unfortunately. But now in today's climate, in today's culture, where BLM, there's literally Black Lives Matter on the court. You got riots, it's so much drama going on. Everything is so heightened. Everything is so hypersensitive. You just can't say shit like that on TV, Montrezl Harrell. Now, if you go out to any public park, any hoop, any court, I guarantee you that is being said nonstop. Bitch ass white boy, this, that, the other. And you know what? I don't even know if it's that racist. I think it's just kind of part of the basketball culture, unfortunately. But I think it took something like this for people to be like, hold on. Black guys can say it, but white guys can't. But maybe not. It's not. So, you saw what Jason Williams, the former Duke point guard, said about it. He came out and he says, damn, Trez, Montrez, this ain't cool. You can't be doing stuff like that. So
good for him.
Yeah. That
good
guy's a sharp dude right there. If you want to play
it's
that.
all good. It's how long is that?
Reader.
Big $1.52. We don't have that kind of time. So,
First
Michael,
10
what do you
seconds,
think
I
about
think
it?
we're
Oh,
important.
is it in the first 10
First
seconds?
10 seconds.
Play the first 10 seconds.
But damn, Trez. Damn, Montrez. I can only imagine if Luka Doncic had said something like that to you and it got caught on tape. I can only imagine during Black Lives Matter how much of a big deal that would have been considering today's climate and state.
Good voice of reason
Would have
right
been
there,
a
Jason
massive
Williams.
story.
Duke.
Okay, good for him. Michael, what do you think?
No, and with what we're going through right now, we keep pointing out differences. if we just stop pointing out the differences, I don't think we're going to have it. I think he was way off, and I think something needs to be done about it, because the fact of the matter is, you're talking about it happens on the basketball court. Basketball court is a bunch of imitation of what happens on a professional basketball court. You know what I mean? Because that's when you're playing the game, it's what you want to be. I mean, when you're a kid, you even pick a player and make everybody call you that while you're playing, So, it's an imitation of what you see there. So I think I think he needs to be a better leader. I mean, when you take that job, it comes with it. So I think something needed to be done. I don't want to talk about the double standard, because I think there's two different issues.
Here's what I will say. To bring some positivity to this.
Let's see it.
If you want to talk about Luka Doncic, you know who he is? He is not a bitch-ass white boy. He is a bad-ass mofo white boy. That kid is bad. He just hit a game winner over the Clippers.
No question.
I think when all is said and done, this is a little forward thinking, Nostradamus over here. He might be better than Larry Bird at the end of his career. He might be. I know you're a huge Larry Bird fan. But damn, the kid's got game. So respect to Luka. I know he's here in Dallas doing his damn thing.
Let me tell you, he's a stud. He's a stud, and good for Cuban and Dallas Maps to have a guy like him.
You got his rookie card?
I do. I actually have many of them, 10 of them of the same card.
10 Luka cards?
About 10 of them, PSA 10. And
how many Mike Trout rookie cards do you have?
Not a $3.9 million one. I wouldn't pay $3.9 for that kind of a card.
What would you pay for that?
I wouldn't pay $3.9 for any of the new rookies.
Can you give us an update on the cards that you got going on in the market right now?
I got a lot of stuff right now going on there, but we got 9:15, and we got to hit our time. Gang, so a couple things. Number one, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, click on that subscribe button and press that little bell you see right next to it, because YouTube alerts you if you have that, and it just sends it to you, because some of you guys get the text, but some of you don't. So click on the subscribe button. It's the biggest podcast we've ever had, most viewers we've ever had. And I'm going to put the link below right there that says Rapattoni's. We said the first 2 to come to you get a free haircut as long as they buy the first shirt. I put his Instagram account. If you're in the Plano or Dallas area, go get a haircut with him. He's one of the best storytellers you will ever see. And who knows, maybe in the future we'll bring Michael back. It's obvious that a lot of you guys like Michael with his style.
I challenge anybody out there to say Rapattoni 3 times and not be a smile on your face. Say it 3 freaking times. Rapattoni, Rapattoni, Rapattoni. That's going to put a smile on your face. I guarantee it. It's like Beetlejuice.
Gang, love you. Today was a great podcast. We will do it again next week. I got a convention this week with 16,000 people on a virtual convention.
Big week.
With Pitbull, General Madison, Trey Gowdy. But we will let you know the dates. What are we right now looking at? Are we looking at next Wednesday? What's the day that we're looking at? Is it Wednesday or Tuesday? Or we haven't determined that yet. We will let you know. Just subscribe so you get alerted on the next one. And if you're not part of our text distribution, send us a text to 310-340-1132, 310-340-1132. And people are saying, bring him back, bring him back. They like Michael, okay? They like Michael. Huh? Next Tuesday, 8 o'clock is what the schedule is for the next podcast. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.
Rapattoni, Rapattoni, macaroni.